everyone, Ben Yunson here. So glad you could join me today on this live stream. It's been a little while since I've gone live here on my channel, but so much has been happening lately that I thought I would join you. So I'm so glad to see all of you tuned in, and with a bit of luck some more people will join us as we continue to go. So thank you so much for joining me today. Hey Rod, hey Mads, hey Easy E, Juan, great to see you all, and say hi to Vienna, our moderator for today. And yeah, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Ibanez AM2000H, I should know that by now, which is what I'm playing right here in my hands now, and the AM153QA, which I've played a lot over the last couple of years, and I have to my left right here. So yeah, a couple of months ago I released a fairly in-depth video where I played through both of these guitars and it just demonstrated how they sound, and sort of isolated some of the pickup settings that I find to be really important when I'm making a comparison between two guitars. For example, deciding which guitar I'm going to play on a recording session or live or anything like that. And while there are a lot of similarities between the two instruments, there are some really distinct differences as well. And I noticed that there were a lot of questions going beyond what I had addressed in the video, so I thought we'd get into some of that today. Now, let me know if you can hear me okay. Rod, I see that I'm a little quiet on your end, so let me raise my volume here. 1 second. This is one of the pitfalls of going live, of course. So let me know if that is a bit of an improvement on my talking volume, and I'll give you a bit of a guitar level as well. And let me know if you can hear the talking and the playing just fine, no matter where you are in the world. And by the way, a lot of you are tuning in from all around the world, so let me know where you are watching from. I know that we have a lot of people from across the United States, which, as you know, is where I'm living. But we have a lot of people from everywhere, and I'd love to know, whether it be within the United States or around the world, where you're tuning in from. So make sure to jump in the chat and let me know. So, before we jump into it, I do have a few little announcements to do with the channel. And, oh, someone tuning in from Brisbane. Fantastic. Great to see you. Sounds good. I'm glad to hear it. Fantastic. So, yeah, a few announcements with the channel. Basically, one of the big milestones of late is that we hit 50k subscribers, and well, that includes all of you who are joining me today, which is fantastic. So to some that may seem like a, you know, maybe not the hugest milestone ever, but to me it is a big milestone, because that means that after trying to build up what I'm doing on YouTube over the last number of years, and having all of you support what it is that I do, reaching a milestone like 50k for me is really a moment where I thank you for supporting me and following me with everything I've done, from the playing, the live discussions, a bit like this one, and the lesson videos. 50k subscribers is a wonderful milestone for me, but it is of course nothing without the people who are indeed subscribing. So it's just a moment for me to say thank you for supporting what I do. It's fantastic, and I really do appreciate it. And with a bit of luck, we can keep on building to make this channel have a following of 100k subscribers or more, and I'm certainly going to keep on doing that. And with your continued support, I know I'll be able to. So thank you. And I've also started a blog on my website at benyunson.com, where I've talked a bit about this journey to building a YouTube channel, which continues to this day, of course, but you can check out my new blog at my website. The next thing is we're having 25% off at bensguitarclub.com, and that's the biggest discount that we're going to be doing all year for my online courses and bundle packages, including the BGC bundle, which features all of my masterclasses in one package. You can use the code SEPT24, SEPT24, and you'll see that in the description of this video as well, and it does end tonight. So if you are interested in getting my bundles, masterclasses, anything like that at bensguitarclub.com, that 25% off promo ends tonight. So make sure to check it out. If you want to work on triadic soloing on guitar, you can check out how to solo with triads. You can learn some of my more complex linear exercises and examples in 10 etudes for guitar improvisation, which is also part of the modern soloing bundle and the BGC bundle. And you can get 25% off everything with the code SEPT24. And it ends tonight. And we're not going to be doing that again for, well, a long, long time. So I hope you can get into it, and I hope you enjoy it. And the final thing is that I'm offering a limited amount of one-on-one lessons in September, and you'll see tagged beneath this video the one-on-one lesson link that you can book at my website. And if you do go to benunsen.com to book, you can also book a 3-pack of lessons, which is fantastic at a discounted rate. So head to benunsen.com if you're interested in taking a lesson with me in September. The next number of months after this are going to be a bit busy schedule-wise for me, so make sure to get on it, and I'd love to see you. Alright, let's talk about these two guitars. So, if you have any particular questions about these guitars, I've made a list here on my piece of paper, which you would have seen me holding up a moment ago, of some of the questions that I saw pop up in the comments, which I haven't addressed in my video. And we'll get to those in a moment. But if you do have any particular questions about the AM2000H guitar, which I'm holding, versus the AM153QA guitar, which I will be picking up momentarily, make sure to jump in the chat, let me know, and after I've spoken through what I'd like to say, we'll get into your questions. So, first up, we have the AM2000H, which is just a beautiful sounding guitar, maybe the most beautiful clean sound I've ever played. Now that, as you can hear, was just on the neck pickup, and then going to the middle pickup setting, which both are beautiful sounds. And something that I really love is that even on the bridge pickup you can get this beautiful clean warmth. You can even do a bit of bending on the bridge pickup with just a clean sound. hear these sort of bell-like clean sounds coming straight out of the guitar without anything more than, in this case, just a bit of reverb on. And that to me is the most beautiful sort of crystal clear clean tone, a little bit bell-like perhaps, you know, that I've personally ever experienced on a guitar. Now, something that I can of course speculate with some degree of certainty is that the full acoustic cavity in the guitar and the subsequent resonance that is going to occur as a result has a lot to do with that. I've certainly never experienced it before on a semi-acoustic guitar, and this being a full acoustic cavity, well, it's incredibly resonant, absolutely beautiful, something I love. So yeah, Mads has asked here, do you think the acoustic qualities come through when amplified? I certainly do, actually. I think there's, well, certainly if you go on the internet, there are many debates these days about how true is that. People start getting into talking about tone woods and does it really make any difference? And I'm not necessarily interested in those types of debates. I'm sure that's good for someone else to talk about, but we're purely talking about acoustic resonance here, and I think there's a valid argument to be made that when you have a fully acoustic cavity, as you do on this, albeit small-bodied guitar, it certainly does have an impact on how the sound ultimately is produced. And this is unlike any semi-acoustic guitar I've ever played. So yes, Mads, I think that does have something to do with it. Now, Rod, you said, I've listened to all of your videos on both guitars. I love the AM2000H, and I know that it would be outstanding quality. The AM153QA sounds a little more focused. Which one do you gravitate toward? That's a great question, Rod, and I'm going to get to that in just a moment. I think you raise a very interesting point. But before we get to that, this sort of bell-like quality of these two, well, rather these three pickup settings, is incredibly enticing to me in terms of pursuing a clean sound. And one of the things that I think is often overlooked in the realm of guitar is the clarity above the 12th fret, okay? So we can certainly solo down here and it'll work fantastically well. Beautiful, some beautiful open chords and certainly a lot of clarity and no string buzz, very important, coming from the lower strings. But let's say I want to take it above the 12th fret. Something that I've noticed, in addition to consistency of tone, is that the string height doesn't become impossible above the 12th fret. The action can be very low with, in my opinion, rather my experience, no string buzz. So I can play arpeggios, lines, anything I like above the 12th fret. Without sacrificing sound production itself, and certainly with great ease, because the actual string height doesn't change that much as you go further and further toward the 22nd fret, which is something that I've only really experienced playing Ibanez guitars. That's not a shameless plug. It's kind of one of the big reasons I play these guitars is because of the consistency of string height down the entirety of the fretboard. That's just something I've noticed on pretty much every Ibanez guitar, and it's very attractive to me since I like to use the full range of the instrument. I can go from the highest of high points and work my way down. and experience a very similar sort of consistency of tone and string height. So that's something that this guitar does better than pretty much any other that I've played, and that's not just hyperbole, that is the truth. So that's something that I noticed. Now, before I keep on riffing away here, verbally and musically, let me go through some of the specs for you. So, the AM2000H has a set-in neck made from African mahogany and roasted maple with the Ibanez S-Tech wood treatment, which I'm sure has a lot to do with why this plays and sounds as nicely as it does. The body features a figured anagray top, back, and sides. And if you want to see that in even more depth, then go and check out my video from a couple of months ago right here on my channel. The nut is made from bone. The fretboard is made from bound ebony with acrylic and abalone block inlays, which someone in the comments yesterday said that these inlays, to their eye, almost looked like mountain paintings or something up close, which I thought was a really interesting interpretation. And then I had a look and I was like, you know what, I actually can see that. Which is pretty cool. 22 medium frets with a Gibraltar artist bridge. I think that's right. No, pardon me. It's a Gotto 510BN bridge and the AM special tailpiece. 2 Super 58 pickups. Scale length is 24.7 inches, so pretty close to a classic type of semi-acoustic or small body semi-acoustic type guitar. Very comfortable neck, very thin neck profile, with thickness of 22 millimeters at the 12th fret, which in my experience is very, very slim. So that's certainly the AM2000H, and I see that you're delivering some messages in the comments, in the chat here rather, which I will get to in just a moment. But while you're watching, if you could possibly give this video a like so that we can push it out to as many people as possible, I know that that really helps, and as you know, we're still building this channel, so if you can, it'd be fantastic if you could give this video a like, and we can continue to push it out. And remember to get 25% off at bensguitarclub.com with the code SEPT24, including my masterclasses and bundles, including the BGC bundle, which features everything. You can get 25% off, and it ends tonight, so that would be fantastic. Now let's pick up the other guitar, the AM153QA. Let's see if I can do this maneuver on camera without messing it up. Okay. So yeah, this guitar is absolutely stunning, by the way, especially when you even see the back of it. It's one of my great fears that I would scratch up the back of a guitar this beautiful, and well, thus far I haven't done that, so that's pretty good. Now let's pick up the other guitar here. Now, something that I've really come to love about this particular guitar is actually the bridge pickup. I think that the bridge pickup is incredibly warm sounding. Now, you've heard me soloing on the neck pickup many a time, so we'll focus a little less on that today. And this is where I think you may well be right, Rod, that the AM153QA is a little more focused tonally. It's perhaps a little, I don't know, tighter sounding perhaps, I'm not sure. Especially when you get into the realm of turning a little bit of drive on. And I'll just adjust that ever so slightly. But you can get a very smooth drive sound without it sounding trashy, so to speak. And that's just one of the things I love about this guitar. I really hope that that's translating as well on your end as it sounds in my room here. And then if we do turn the drive off and just go back to that clean sound, it's not quite as much of an expansive clean sound as we heard on the AM2000H, but it is still nonetheless refined in its own way, and one of the most refined sounds I've ever heard from a semi-acoustic instrument, because one of the big differences about this guitar to the AM2000H is of course the semi-acoustic nature of it, with a nice big block of wood down the center, which of course does wonders for making sure you don't get feedback. But yeah, such a beautiful warm sound regardless of the drive or the clean. So let me take a look at your comments here, and let's get into having a bit of a chat about this. Alright, so Juan, I bought the AM153 based on your video last year. Not disappointed at all. It's my main gigging guitar now. I'm so glad to hear that, Juan. It's been more or less been recently my equal main guitar with the AM2000H. They both have slightly different uses for me, but this thing, this AM153QA, is genuinely such a great playing guitar and very, very versatile. I feel very strongly about not lending my name to something that I don't actually use, and for me that's so important, and I actually use this. I love it. I use it on so much stuff, and to hear that you've gotten great use out of it as well makes me very, very pleased. So thank you for telling me that. David, Ben, you're the most underrated guitar master on the internet. Unbelievable talent, and feel so glad I found your channel. Thank you, David. That's so kind. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for supporting me and what I do right here on my channel, and really appreciate your kind words. Thank you so much. Rod, do you know the weight? I don't think Ibanez advertises it. Now, that is a great question, and funnily enough, Rod, that is on my list of questions that I have collated here, put together, and well, why don't we jump right into that, the weight of the guitars. So I don't know the exact weight in pounds or kilograms, depending on which weight you use, but what I can tell you, purely based on observation, is that this one, the AM153QA, is slightly heavier if I were to compare the two guitars. And I think that is in no small part because of the famous block of wood down the middle. But when you compare this guitar to perhaps a different, like a classic semi-acoustic instrument, this one does have a slightly smaller body. And I'd say it is the heavier of the two guitars. This one is incredibly light, pardon me. And this one is marginally heavier, maybe a pound or half a kilogram if I were to guess, don't quote me on that. A pound or half a kilogram heavier than the other. But for me personally, that's sort of a negligible weight difference. Some time ago, you might recall, I played a Les Paul reasonably frequently. I actually got rid of that Les Paul, not because it was a bad guitar. I sort of felt as though I didn't have a use for it anymore musically at the time, but another problem was that it just gave me tremendous back pain. It was so heavy. I think it was 12 pounds. I can't remember what the conversion in kilograms is. Perhaps that's 5 kilos or something. But I would sit with that Les Paul for an hour and I would be in excruciating back pain. I suppose what I'll tell you is that neither of these guitars have ever caused me personally any problem like that. This one's incredibly light. This one is perhaps a pound, half a kilo heavier. Now, you'd probably have to do a weight check yourself to be absolutely certain, but fractionally heavier, very light, in my opinion, both very comfortable. So that would be my answer to the question there. Alright, let me pick up the AM2000H one more time. Get back into some comments in the chat here. And by the way, thank you all so much for joining me today. If you're just tuning in, say hi to our moderator Vienna, who's helping us out today in the chat, and make sure to let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me plug this one back in. Now, what else do we have here in the chat, everyone? Alex, congrats on 50k subs. Thanks so much, Alex. Thanks for your support, and thank you everyone here for your support. I really do appreciate it. And Tyleek, you're the truth, Ben. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for joining, and thanks for your support. Mads, do you have any experience with P90 pickups, and have you considered having them in some of your guitars? P90s, I've played P90s a couple of times and I always liked them, but it's just not something I gravitated toward in the long run, but certainly great. You know, I've played a Les Paul and I played a Collings some years ago when I was playing at South by... where was I? Playing in Austin, Texas? I can't recall. But anyway, I played P90s on those guitars and they're always great, but not something I really use personally. So, yeah. Let's see. And by the way, if you could give this video a like if you haven't already, that would be absolutely fantastic. Alright, Elias, what do we have here? How would you say the AMs compare to the AS model, specifically the JSM10? Do you prefer the smaller AM and why? Now that's a great question. Some years ago I owned, and I still do own, it's just in Australia, not here in the US, an Ibanez John Schofield model some years ago, and it's just a fantastic instrument. And I say that not with any bias. I've played many different types of guitars, and the Ibanez guitars I've been playing for 18 years now. Should I dare admit that it's been 18 years? Yes, I will, because they're fantastic guitars. And I love the JSM guitars, the larger AS style body. But for me personally, everything changed some years ago when I played an Ibanez AS50, and many of you will have seen me playing an AS50 in my early New York City live videos and lots of different settings. And the AS50 has a slightly smaller body, and I just found that to be the perfect balance between kind of like a solid body and a semi-acoustic type instrument. So that was, look, I mean, when I was a teenager coming up, I played in jazz clubs just as much as I played in rock clubs, you know, so the smaller body idea for me was the perfect balance between, I suppose, a jazz guitar and a guitar that could rock out, you know. So it's just a personal preference for me, but the AS instruments are beautiful and resonant and incredibly well built, and I think it just comes down to taste at that point, you know. So there you go. So what else do we have here? Hey Matthias, how are you? Great to see you. I purchased the 153QA last year because of your great demos, and I'm not looking back. Incredibly fat sound and beautiful to play and behold. Has jazz vibes, but definitely a modern touch. Matthias, I'm so glad you said that. I really do believe in these guitars. I just love how they sound, and I love how easily they play. Just the ease with which you can get around the neck. Now, okay, I can play that line there with relative ease because I've just been playing for a long, long time, but a big key component to these guitars is that they allow you to play with a certain degree of ease. something that I've noticed about this and the AM153QA is that they don't, the string height doesn't shift very much at all when there are weather changes. Now, you might remember the blue Strat that I played a lot some years ago. It's a lovely guitar, but it was just so volatile. I remember one time flying from New York City to Seattle, Washington, and it was in December, you know, so it was going from somewhere that was cold to somewhere that was even colder. I remember it was even colder in Seattle at the time than it was in New York. And by the time I took the guitar out of the case when I landed in Seattle, the string height was so shockingly high, I actually had to take it to someone to get it, to get something done. You know, it had been almost damaged. And anyway, that's a whole other story, I digress. But the point is that these particular guitars, you can set the strings beautifully low without getting any buzz, and then they can withstand significant weather changes better than any other guitar I've played, and that's so important to me, to make sure that it's not volatile and it stays consistent. So I really like that. So there you go. I hope that answered the question. Thanks so much, Matthias. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate your support. Chris, hey, from Alabama. Great to see you. Thanks for joining. Here we go, George, from Stockholm. Thank you for joining in. Thank you so much. Let's see. Oh, please let us know your preferred string gauge. Do you know what? Recently, I have been trying out strings. You know, I love trying out different strings. And I recently picked up Labella 10-46 strings, and I'll have to get the exact, I just have them in the other room over there, and I just got a new set today. But anyway, I got these Labella guitar strings that are 10-46, and they are my favorite strings I've played ever thus far. Very consistent, clear as a bell. They don't rust or anything, which in my usage thus far, which is quite remarkable. That's just my experience, and they sound beautiful. Which is, yeah, I've been using the Labella 10-46 strings, which are just fantastic. So I really love that. But yeah, that's what I've been trying out. And you know, I've tried every type of string that you can, possibly imagine. But yeah, these ones. Actually, I have them right here. There you go. Pure vintage 10-46. And this is not a it's not a sponsorship post. I bought these, and I just got a new set today. Actually, I'm going to restring this evening, and these Labella Pure Vintage 10-46, they're beautiful. I just think they sound great, and I'm not endorsed by them or anything. I just bought them and loved them, and there you go. Fantastic strings. I'm very impressed. So 10-46, not a shameless plug. They're just strings I got recently, and this is the second time, and I thought they were great. So hope that answers your question. Let's see, what else do we have here? Hey, Main House Weightlifting. Hey, you're joining from Seattle. Thank you so much. And you've got an AM153QA as well. I'm so glad to see that so many of you have picked up this guitar. It is just such a stunner, in my opinion. It is a knockout. It's absolutely beautiful. Both of these are. And certainly if you want to walk a line between jazz, rock, or anything in between, the AM153QA is just such a knockout instrument. And so is this one. Both of them are. But a number of you have mentioned that you've picked up the AM153QA, and I'm so glad to hear it. And if I had anything to do with that decision, then I am even happier. So thank you for telling me. Just fantastic. So let's see. What else do we have here? Victor, play something cool. I will in just a moment. Hey, Michael. Michael Perez-Cisneros is in the house. Michael is, if you don't know Michael, I'm sure many of you do know Michael. Michael is one of the greatest recording engineers and producers on earth, and he co-produced and engineered my album Ace, back in 2017 to 2019, and it's about time I released a new record. I'm quite well aware of that, but don't you worry, it's going to happen. But everyone say hi to Michael. He's been doing some fantastic stuff in New York and Nashville, so if you need a great engineer, contact Michael Perez Cisneros. So great to see you, Michael. And Victor, it has a really cool open, it sounds really cool and has an open and acoustic electric tone that sounds unique to me. And let's see, that's a great point, Victor, because that would be the big difference between these two guitars for me. That I was searching for something that had more of a sort of pronounced acoustic quality. And that is a bit of a difference between the AM153QA and the AM2000H. That one is very much an electric guitar with beautiful semi-acoustic properties, this one, and the other has these beautiful, you know, sort of acoustic qualities, once again likely to do with that beautiful acoustic cavity that are just second to none as far as I'm concerned. Something like that. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, absolutely fantastic. You know what? We could boil this discussion down to just this, which is that if you like some more beautiful acoustic qualities coming out of a really beautifully made electric instrument, then it's the AM2000H. And if you like the more sort of classic but modern, in this case, semi-acoustic instrument, which is very much an electric guitar, but with those beautiful mid-rangey kind of semi-acoustic qualities that we know and love, but with a modern twist, it's the AM153QA. Now, personally, I'm spoiled to have both of them, but I use them both very, very much, and yeah, it's fantastic. What am I thinking of here? Losing my train of thought, talking and playing. But yeah, let's jump back into the chat here. What else do we have here? I like that neck pickup, but I find the bridge pickup thin for my signal chain. Which guitar did you was that with the AM153 or the AM2000? I'd be curious to get your thoughts on that, but yeah, fantastic. Good to hear your input as well. And let's see, Victor, I haven't played too many semi-hollow type guitars. I played an Epiphone ES335 with a Bigsby to balance it out, and it sounded really cool when I played jazzy chords and lines on it. You know, I've never really been into the Bigsby, but I did play one in a guitar store not that long ago, and I suppose the Bigsby thing just never crossed my mind, but it is very cool. I'm sure that's a great combination. That's fantastic. So, very, very cool. So we've got a few more questions here, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been great fun. And I wanted to ask you, if you haven't already, I know many of you have, if you could give this video a like and help us push it out to as many people as possible, as it helps continue to build this channel, which has been built with the help of all of you. So if you could give it a like, that would be just fantastic. And if you are interested in learning with me, my 25% off sale at bensguitarclub.com ends tonight with the code SEPT24. And it's the biggest sale that we're going to be doing this year, 25% off, and it won't be coming back around for a while. So if you'd like to learn with me, make sure to check out the BGC bundle, which features all of my masterclasses in one package. And you can also check out my individual masterclasses as well, and other bundle packages. Oh, I should also say the mini lesson bundle, which I've entirely revamped and refilmed. And speaking of Ibanez guitars, I use my AZ, the beautiful AZ with the single coil pickups, for the mini lesson bundle, and you get a lot of my lines in tab and notation, and you can get 25% off all of it at bensguitarclub.com ending tonight. Use the code SEPT24 and you can check it out. So thanks everyone for your support. We'll do a few more questions and then we will leave it there. Such a pleasure to have all of you join me this afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you may be. So let's jump into some more questions here. So Rod, you said, do you miss the tri-sound switch on the AM2000H? You know what? I wondered if I would, and the tri-sound switch is one of the... It is actually a really cool invention. Now, the tri-sound switch was always a thing of curiosity to me because when I used to see John Scofield play many, many years ago on videos, and I saw him play live in Australia when I was a teenager, which changed my life. You know, it was just ridiculous performance. I saw that little tri-sound switch on his AS200. I thought, what was that? You know, I was always curious. And but now on the AM153QA, I have used the tri-sound switch a little bit, but mostly just for rhythm guitar type parts on recordings. I don't particularly use it for lead lines or chords, but it is a really handy thing to have access to on the AM153QA. And several other Ibanez models similar to this. Now, yes, the tri-sound switch, which for those of you who are unfamiliar with it, is a pickup coil splitting switch, which usually is down here. It isn't on this guitar. And I have to say that for the tones that I want to get out of this guitar, I haven't really missed it. I think it works a bit better tonally with the semi-acoustic instrument, this one, as opposed to the full acoustic, more or less full acoustic instrument here. So I haven't missed it on this guitar, but I'm really glad to have it on the other one. So interesting point. Let's see, what else do we have here? Hey Juan, I have an Ibanez AS200 bought new in 1981. The 153 is way more comfortable to play. You know what, I've experienced the same thing, Juan. I think the AS200, pardon me, from 81 is just an amazing guitar. It's kind of iconic at this point, but having played that and this one, I would personally go for the AM153 because I just think, I actually think it's just got some refinements that are more of this time. And some people love vintage guitars, and vintage is certainly something you can do and it's fantastic. I am actually a fan of modern guitars. Perhaps that's controversial to say, but that's just how I feel. I like guitars that are of this time, and personally these two instruments are the perfect balance of sort of acknowledging what has come before but also looking to the future. And I just love that. I love acknowledging the fact that you know, we've got these classic design elements that are just like no other, but it's still modern. It's still got a neck that feels modern, plays great, it can withstand temperature changes, stuff like that, and it's these are two sort of modern classics. How do you like that? So we'll do a couple more questions here. If any of you have questions or anything that you'd like to jump in the chat with, jump in now, and then we'll leave it there for today. But thank you so much for joining me. It's always fantastic to talk to you. And you know what? I should jump on this live stream a little more often. It's been too many months, and it's fantastic to see so many of you joining me today. So it's always great fun to talk with you. It's really one of the, you know, I try to think of all the great things that we have in life, and this to me is one of the really cool things that we get to do now in 2024, in the 2020s, you know, that we get to all connect online in a way that in previous times may not have been possible. So that's pretty amazing. So if you do have any questions, jump in now, and we'll wind it up, everyone. So yeah. What else do we have here? Victor, do you ever use the Blue Strat just for fun every now and again? Did you notice a difference between the outputs of the Blue Strat and your other guitars? Yeah, great question, Victor. You know, I suppose by definition of being an instrument with single coil pickups, the output is going to be lower than a guitar with humbuckers, you know. But the thing about the Blue Strat was, when I got it, it had sort of mystery pickups in it, which I still have. Now, as far as I understood, those were the original pickups that the guitar came with. But then I fortunately started to be in touch with Seymour Duncan Pickups, and Seymour Duncan said, not Seymour Duncan himself, but the lovely people at Seymour Duncan, Chris at the time, and MJ, who's in charge of a lot of the pickups at Seymour Duncan, said, perhaps you'll like the Antiquity 2 pickups. And I've got Seymour Duncans in a lot of my guitars, the Frank Brothers guitar, which I have over here, out of shot, and in the Strat, Seymour Duncan Antiquity 2 pickups, which, to my recollection, are slightly higher output than the original pickups that were in the guitar, and I do like the way they sound a bit better, you know, so that was pretty cool. Now, naturally, yes, it is still going to be a little bit lower output for the fact that they are single coil pickups, I think. But, you know, it's not something that I've found to be a huge problem. It's just one of those Strat differences that you navigate. But I really haven't been playing that guitar that much, the Blue Strat, but always has a special place in my heart, the Blue Strat. So, yeah, absolutely. Oh, quick review of your signal chain. Well, today I have a very, very simple signal chain, which I just sort of set up on the floor here. I had a, you know, a freak out. No, I didn't have a freak out. I just had a moment where I decided to pull my whole pedal board apart. I just got sick of it. I'd had the same pedal board since 2017. And I just took everything off it and thought, I really want to rethink some of this stuff. And so right now I just have a bunch of pedals sitting on the floor, and it's literally right now just a volume pedal, tuner, my Oxford Tech 21 Oxford drive pedal, and a reverb pedal. So, you know, I'm just sort of keeping it down to the basics for now, you know. It's a bit of drive for you. Yeah, I'm sort of revamping my whole pedal situation, so I'll probably do a video on it actually in the coming months, once I've worked out something acceptable, something that doesn't look frankly ridiculous, you know. But great question, thank you for asking. And let's see, and Victor, Antiquity 2, yeah, I suppose you can get an almost jazz-like tone from the neck pickup with the Antiquity 2s, you know, like an almost, I won't say exactly the same, but almost Ed Bickett Telecaster tone from the Antiquity 2 single coil neck pickup, if you are familiar with Ed Bickett and his kind of beautiful Telecaster thing that he did so well, you know. So that's, yeah, that's what I think of those pickups. So, alright everyone, let's leave it there for now. Thank you so much for joining me. This has really been an absolute blast. And hey Tony, hey, thanks so much for joining everyone. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't, give the video a like. If you do have any more questions and you happen to be watching this after the live stream, if you've gotten this far in the video, make sure to drop a comment and subscribe to my channel. But of course, for all of you watching right now, ignore that comment. And remember, two things really important. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. 50K is a really big milestone for me, and I really appreciate it. So that is a thank you to you, and you can read more about that at my blog at benyunson.com. 25% off ends tonight at bensguitarclub.com. Make sure, if you've been trying to get the, if you've been thinking about getting the BGC bundle, which is all of my masterclasses and mini lessons in one, you can get 25% off with the code SEPT24. this is your last chance to do it, because it's the end of my summer sale here, and we're not going to repeat that for the rest of the year, this 25% off. So Sept24, make sure to jump in and check that out if you are interested. And also, if you want to book a one-on-one lesson with me, go to benyunson.com, and we will do it. Limited spaces in September. Thank you so much, everyone. You're all fantastic, and your support really means so much to me, and I genuinely mean that. I think that you all know that I'm relatively easily contactable, either here on a live stream or in the comments section, or you can email me. So if you have any further questions, don't hesitate to get in touch. And as always, thanks so much, everyone. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your evening, beautiful morning or afternoon, wherever you may be, if that's the case. And we will most certainly talk again soon. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you soon.